There is a heavy security presence at the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana campus after protest by students. The protesting students of the Commonwealth Hall converged at their forecourt to demand the reinstatement of their hallmaster and senior tutor. Police officers have currently been stationed at the entrance to the Commonwealth Hall. News outlets understand there is some engagement with the leadership of the Commonwealth Hall and Mensa Saba Hall to find an amicable solution to the conflict between both halls. The protest came after the University of Ghana Council recommended the removal of the hallmaster and senior tutor of the Commonwealth Hall after the violence at Mensa Saba Hall on August 5. The council also recommended that Commonwealth Hall be surcharged with the cost of damages to property in the vicinity of the Mensa Saba Hall. A bust of John Mensa Saba, situated outside the Mensa Saba Hall, was stolen during the clash. The SLC Union Building signboard and newly renovated SLC notice board were also destroyed after the Commonwealth Hall and Vikings clash. So, joining me here to have a little discussion on this to understand what actually is happening at the Commonwealth Hall is Raymond Edem Tamaklo, who is a leading member of Commonwealth Hall. V-mate,
sure.
Me, I be fellow. Sorry, what's up? Hold your balls. Your president hold your balls. We hold our balls.
Okay. That's nice.
This particular issue, we are all aware of what happened, but quickly Commonwealth Hall dissociated itself from the clash, so I'm surprised at the turn of events.
Yeah, thank you very much. Even before I go into the matter, I'd like to reiterate on your platform that regardless of what happened on the University of Ghana campus on that day, there shouldn't be any situation whatsoever that should warrant the resort to needless violence that would lead to the loss of properties and then maybe even lives. But even so, like you've rightly stated, the junior common room executive members, the JCR executive members have come to issue a statement distancing the hall from the said violence. And so I can state for a fact, as a member of the hall, that there's been no violence that has been sanctioned by the hall. And so from the very beginning, we have maintained that let's individualize the situation. Let's identify the culprits, the perpetrators of that mayhem on the said day, and deal with them as individuals.
So it means that vandals want us to understand that it wasn't whatever happened or whatever may have happened wasn't out of a mandated action, say like a possession action or a sanctioned action by the hall. By individuals. You are aware that there were some individuals from the Commonwealth Hall that had a clash with Viking?
So this is the position, that there has been no calculated effort from the hall, or there's been no sanction from the hall to engage in any form of violence. And so if maybe, according to video evidence, it comes out or it prevails that certain members within the hall, acting by their own discretion, are involved in any activity that leads to mayhem, that leads to the destruction of properties, those individuals should be identified
and isolated
and dealt with, such that we don't have the future recurrence of this situation.
Do you know of any instance that may have caused, or what may have caused that particular violence, whether organized or not organized, whether people did it on their own, or what do you know? What really happened?
Yeah, and so we've heard different accounts as to what happened. And I cannot emphatically state or give an accurate account as to what happened.
Give us
currently investigations are ongoing. And so this is where the agitation from members of Commonwealth stems from, that investigations are ongoing. We are trying to ascertain the facts of the matter. We are scrutinizing the things that happened that led to the violence and the people who were involved. And so, on what grounds, in what capacity do you mete out these high-handed sanctions against the hall and its members? What would you say flatly? That it was a Commonwealth Saba affair. And so for every property that has been destroyed during the violence, members of Commonwealth alone should be held accountable and should be surcharged. Okay, yes, let's just admit without conceding, or let's just say without conceding or admitting that Commonwealth and Saba were in a clash. It takes two to tango.
Yes.
And so if two people or two factions were involved in a violence, why then do you surcharge just one party?
But I think because the things were destroyed around Saba also, of course, you may have attacked them.
Yeah, but they also, returned the gesture.
Thankfully, they didn't destroy anything of Commonwealth.
No, if two people are at war, if there is violence, I mean, the two parties are actors, they are enablers, and so you cannot just say flatly that just one side should be surcharged. In any case, why then do you also come out and say that management of our hall, that is the hall tutor, the hall master, be relieved of their duty when there is an ongoing investigation?
Couldn't it also be that, you rightly said that let's isolate the people. Let's get, it could be an isolated case, not an organized thing from the hall. So, okay, hall tutor, hall master, helpers. Let's identify individuals within the Commonwealth Hall that went out on rampage. And maybe the hall tutor and then the hall master are not ready to cooperate. They are not forthcoming with information, because if you are the father of the house and some people from your house have gone out to perpetrate illegality, and we come to your house and we have been able to see that there are people in your house, so help us investigate, and you are not forthcoming, then you step out, you step down for us to investigate. This could be the stance of
yes, I understand your point perfectly, but we've not gotten to that point yet when we can firmly state that Kofi A or Ama B is a participant in that violent incident.
Okay.
For which reason we understand that he or she is in your hall. And so failure to produce such a person would mean that you are condoning acts of violence. Then that is a justifiable grounds upon which they can be relinquished of their duties as hall master and hall tutor. But at the point where investigations are still ongoing, we are still trying to understand the situation, identify the perpetrators and participants of the violence. You don't come out with
Have you been able to identify some on your own as JCLC? Have you been able to identify some people that you think went out or have saw the
not at this point, because I for one was not at the venue. I was not at the enclave where the violence happened. We all saw video accounts.
And being a fellow and you being a
vandal,
you and I know it will be very difficult to identify these people.
It is possible. Now there are video accounts, there are video evidence, and I'm sure that the forensic department of the police service could be able to retrieve some of these videos and identify the perpetrators of the violence and punish them accordingly.
Okay.
Right? You see, the point also I'm trying to make here is that this violence incident, keep recurring at the University of Ghana.
Next thing I want us to talk about.
Yes, it keeps recurring over the years.
Okay.
We as students have paid fees only to come to the University of Ghana
to study
and acquire education.
Yes.
And so at no point in time should there be any situation such that it proves hazardous or it proves that it may not augur well for our well-being on campus.
And people you sit in the same lecture halls with, you go and fight them.
Exactly.
Your roommates.
It shouldn't be happening. So the question I am asking is that since this thing has been recurring over the years, last semester it happened, last 2 semesters it happened, the semesters before it happened.
To stop it?
So what has been the measures? What has been the de-escalation efforts that management has put in place? Now we understand that.
Let me ask you, what would Commonwealth Hall say if University of Ghana decides to tow the University of Commonwealth University of Science and Technology way, where they tried all odds to stop this violence and it was proven difficult, and say, okay, let's mix all halls. So that we wouldn't have any male or we didn't have any female hall. Let's mix them all, and that seems to have toned down this. So would you suggest that?
Yeah, it is part of the sanctions that the University of Ghana has come out with, the management has come out,
that they want
that
to
the
mix?
composition of the hall should be looked at. And so the net implication would have to mean that they are going to try to make the hall a mixed hall. But how does that solve anything?
But it has solved something at
no, it has not. That is a fallacy. Two semesters ago, Katanga and Continentals were at it again. There was violence. A lot of people were hurt. Properties were destroyed. Those are missed halls. How has this solved anything? Mensa Saba Hall, okay, one of the purported parties in these clashes is a missed hall.
Yes, that's what is surprising, because Vikings is a Bungalow. Well, maybe it's the name of Bungalow that makes sense.
I can't say for a fact, but there are several other missed halls at the University of Ghana. Ikwafo,
so the name has some to do and all of that. But they don't listen to the name of Bungalow. I don't even know why they acquired the name of Bungalow. Is it because they are closer to Bungalow?
Probably. I don't really understand that.
So, what do you suggest as a JCLC member or as a leading member of the hall? How would you help the school administration to tone down this and then to solve this from happening again?
Yeah, and so first of all, the solution does not lie in the meting out of high-handed arbitrary sanctions, right? The only thing that it does is only to flare up tensions and cause more agitations. And so what I think should be done to curtail the recurrence of this, violence on campus is that let's have an effective conflict resolution mechanism, okay, that is fronted by management itself. Management should be acting as an intermediary. Let's have dialogue, okay? There are proven conflict resolution mechanisms that we can employ at the University of Ghana, such that the tensions, the heightened tensions could be de-escalated. We could see ourselves as, colleague students. That the only time there would be a stiff rivalry between the two halls would be when we are looking for academic excellence. Okay. They're looking at sport laureates and all of that. Who has the most prestigious, alumni and all of those things.
Reports indicate that the two JCLCs, Vikings and then Vandals, have already started something like this. How true is this?
Yes, it is very true. Okay. So on individual basis, the leading JCL members at Saba Hall are our friends. Even when we have hall weeks and all of that, even this semester, some of their chiefs were in Commonwealth. And so we are colleagues like that. And so the management actions shouldn't be resorting to means that would only flare up the tensions. But you see, let's find an amicable way to bring a final resolution to the matter. Let's settle the scores amicably. Let's form some sort of dialogue, right? Let's employ effective conflict resolution mechanisms, right? That way, rather than trying to apportion the greater blame to just...
You are the man. That's what happens in UCC. When it's Casford and ATL, it is Casford that is always, because they see Casford to be, you are the man. You are those who will always charge. So if we pin you down, there will be peace.
No, it doesn't bring any, it doesn't, it takes, like I've already said, it takes two to tango. When the fight happens, you see the guys...
Because they are men there too.
They are men there too.
Anyway, thank you very much. So we'll be speaking with Raymond Edem Tamaklu. Your last submission. So I leave you.
Yeah, my last submission is just going to be a plea to management of the University of Ghana that the decisions that has been taken does not really sit well with members of Commonwealth.
What would be the last end? What would you do if they don't reverse it?
What I can say, we can't really do much, but you see the agitation, I'm not sure it's going to die anytime soon until we see that some of the decisions that they've taken are repealed, right?
Anyway, so management of the University of Ghana, until you repeal some of your decisions or until you back down some of them, the JCLC of the Commonwealth, of the Commonwealth, who give no peace. Is that what you're saying?
No, we are only protesting against the decision, and we hope that
when we come back, this is News Hour.